Hello and welcome to the Buckets and Tea NBA show. We're back, baby. Joining me today, you know him, you love him. It's Vivek Jacob. How you doing, buddy?
Yay!
I
I'm
only
great.
took
I'm
1
great.
week. I only took 1 week off, but I'm like, we're back. Like it just feels like it's been longer somehow. So before we get started, we're going to talk about the Canada men's Olympic basketball team, some of the US basketball stuff. But I just want to ask you first, how are you enjoying these Olympics so far?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I mean, I am do you have a favorite non-mainstream event that you like to watch at the Olympics?
No, not one favorite. No. I like
Okay.
them all
Okay.
though. Like I'll get invested in whatever's happening.
Okay. Okay. So every Olympics, I get super into handball, and it's like
I
it's
forgot
soccer with your hands.
I forgot handball was even a thing.
It is. So that is one event. Every Olympics, I'm like, handball is back. So obviously, I'm watching the regular tennis and soccer, and
Mhm.
can't wait for the sprints.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so
Yeah, I
love
love
all
all
of
the
that.
track and field stuff.
But
Um
the one event I watch that's exclusively for the once every 4 years is handball.
that feels like an appropriate amount of handball watching.
Actually, water polo too. I enjoy water polo too.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
something
that's
about
cool.
yeah.
You as a very now to me you're a famous cricket fan because you cover cricket and you're becoming known. I feel like you're becoming known for covering cricket as well as basketball. How do
I thank
you
you.
feel about cricket not being an Olympic sport?
Well,
Or is it
I
just
think
too long? Like it would take oh no, I'm kidding. Like it would take the
no.
whole Olympics.
So on the positive side of things, cricket will be in the 2028 Olympics.
Oh, officially?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, you
So
have to
that was
go.
yeah. It's gonna be in LA. So I think it's gonna be an awesome event, and I think that's the thing that's caught on over the last decade or so, where cricket has a format now that's only about 3-ish hours, and I say only 3-ish because that's a lot shorter than 8 or 5 days.
Yes,
Eight
exactly.
hours or 5 days, which were the other two formats.
Yeah.
And so that kind of fits more into oh, okay, so when people here in North America can kind of look at it and be like, oh, okay, so around the same time as a baseball game, or and
Mhm.
kind of get behind it. I mean, heck, you watch an NBA game now with all the timeouts and all of that.
Reviews and yeah.
Yeah, you end up in front of the TV for close to 3 hours anyway. So, yeah, so I think the format has really caught on, and I think the business side of it is what is making things so appealing to North America, and so it will be very cool to see it at the Olympics in 2028.
That's incredible. Maybe that's why Adam Silver gave the coaches a second coaching challenge. Just more breaks, more commercials, baby. Maybe that's what he was
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
But that's awesome. I really you are gonna get a media pass, right? Like I need to know someone who goes to the Olympics, I feel. Because I
I
want to
hope
go,
so.
but
I
I
mean,
want to go to Olympics, but I just want to have fun. Like I don't imagine myself working there in any
yeah, I mean,
capacity.
I can barely make plans for tomorrow, so 4 years from now is let's leave it up in the air for now.
Listen, I'll stay on top of it for you. I have friends in LA. If you need a place to stay, I stay. This is a very random shout out. Shout out to my friends Anna and Sam. They're a couple that I stay with in Long Beach. I've podcasted from their home, believe it or not.
Oh.
It's a very just yellow wall, and they're in comedy, hence why they have rooms with yellow walls. And they met
There's got to
in
be You've just got to do an episode, like a Buckets and Tea special on the walls of Buckets and Tea.
we
It'll
were
be
talking earlier about how my background keeps evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you can throw your friend's wall in there too. Your
Well,
friend's
this
very
is
yellow wall.
this is why the art is posters, because I feel like it's hard to commit to like a a painting that's like a few $100s. You know what I mean? It's like I spend that on a painting, like that's just got to be it. Like I got to really
Mm,
fall in love, you know?
right.
But anyway, speaking of committal issues. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, my friends Anna and Sam, they met in clown school, which I didn't think was possible.
That
Like I
is
just,
incredible.
Freddie Rivas from Confederacy of Dunks met his wife Caitlin in clown school.
Wow.
So I have two friends that met their partners in clown school.
That's like the odds on that. It's got to be like lightning odds, right? Like,
I know. I mean, like, and then they're like, why don't you try to go to clown school and meet your significant other? I was like, I can't do that without bringing significant shame to my family. Like we we come from different cultures. Like, I can't just go to
oh my
clown
god.
school.
Yeah. If I, yeah. I think I gave my parents enough of a hard time telling them I was going into journalism. Can you imagine
Right? I
if I
mean,
said clown school?
me going into comedy has already been like you're never gonna get a I'm proud of you again. So, I can't even imagine. But anyway, just thought I'd throw in that fun story. Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about Canada
Serious business.
men's basketball team. Look, we've won our first couple games. I'm sure everyone who's listening to this has been watching. We face Spain tomorrow. It'll be tomorrow morning. So by the time this episode comes out, you may have already seen that game. But Vivek, looking at their schedule, they're calling their bracket the bracket of like death or something, which is like way too dramatic for me. But do you feel like Spain or another team coming up outside of the US, of course, what do you think is like Team Canada's like biggest opposition here or second biggest opposition? And do you think we will ultimately get past them?
You're talking about the quarterfinals?
Yeah.
Yeah, avoid the
I should have
US.
phrased it that way. Okay, we all know who the actual professional is here. It's fine.
Jeez. Yeah, I think as long as Canada can avoid the US, they've got a good shot of making the semis. I think obviously Serbia would be a big problem. And they don't really have, I mean, no one really has an answer for Jokic. Like, even you look at the US when they played Serbia, it was dead even when he was on the court. I think it was the minutes he was on, it was like 81-81. And the 9 minutes he was off, it was 26-3 or something like that. And so,
Yeah.
and obviously Canada with the lack of size would not be well equipped to deal with Jokic. And they've got good guard play. Bogdanovic would be a huge threat. So I think USA, you avoid USA, you would believe that you can get to the semis. Serbia would probably be the next biggest threat in my opinion. Just because I haven't been too impressed with France. I have not. I think who else is in the mix? I guess Germany would be tough too.
Germany is very much in the mix also.
Yeah,
But I think
yeah.
you make a good point, because when we played against Greece, like Team Canada, as great as they were in that game, and came down to the wire and it was a great game, but like, man, like Team Canada could not guard Giannis to save their life. Like he had like 34 and 9 or something to that effect. I don't have it in front of me, but it was close to that. Like he had a phenomenal game. And we are weaker when it comes to our bigs, and it's going to take an entire team effort to guard those guys. So we'll see. I still have very high hopes for us medaling, a silver or bronze. I'll be super, super stoked. US has been dominating as expected. They've had games that were close, then in the third to fourth quarter, they run away with it. That seems to be the pattern every single game with them. But yeah, Spain tomorrow. We're recording this Thursday, so that will be Friday. And I believe that is the quarterfinal. So hold on. I should be
No, Spain is the final group game.
Oh, that's the final group game, and then the next one is the quarterfinal. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's why it's
yeah.
not set in stone who the quarterfinal would be against. Like Canada, ideally. So that's the thing. Canada, if they can beat Spain, then there's a very good chance that they avoid the US.
Okay, so that's why this is like extra significant. Okay. Well, here's to hoping that actually happens. Okay. And I actually think it will. Like, Spain is not as dominant as they once were, right? Like in the Gasol era and with Serge Ibaka and all of that. So I do think that we do have a very good shot against Spain. Okay. I also want to talk to you about the 3-on-3 basketball tournament. So the 3-on-3 basketball tournament is a fairly new event. I believe it started in Tokyo. And there's been a lot of, sort of like mixed reviews around this event. We've seen the U.S. team struggle. The U.S. women's team, I believe, have not won a game in this tournament. By contrast, the Canadian women's team is doing really well in 3-on-3 basketball. So look out for them. I have a few opinions about this sport and maybe things that they could do to improve it.
Go off.
What?
Oh, I said go off.
Oh, yeah, because there's so many things. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are like, hey, 3-on-3 basketball is not 5-on-5 basketball. The game is different, blah, blah, blah. All of that is true. But I don't think that's necessarily the key to improving this event, is just having people who only play 3-on-3 basketball their entire careers, because frankly, I mean, there's no money in that. So it would be unfair to ask people to just play 3-on-3 their whole careers. Okay, I'm going to hold on to my opinions on this for now. Vivek, I want you to go first. What do you think the Olympics could do to improve the 3-on-3 basketball event?
I mean, I think the challenge with something like this is just when you have two events within one sport, people are naturally going to gravitate towards the one that I think is more renowned and has more familiarity.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, imagine if, say, hypothetically, you took the 100-meter sprint and you had a 60-meter sprint, but Usain Bolt's not going to be in the 60-meter sprint. He's just going to be in the 100. Which one are you going to watch? And I think that's sort of the challenge you face, where it's like, okay, so I can watch, LeBron and all the Steph and everyone do their thing in the 5-on-5 competition. So, there's only so many sports and so many hours in the day that I'm going to make time for. So I think that's the biggest challenge. In terms of what the Olympics can do, I don't know. I think it's got to be more of like, hey, what can you do in between each Olympics to make 3-on-3 basketball more appealing, right? And make it more mainstream. And I think that's where, can you maybe find a way, can the people associated with it find a way to make it attached to the NBA or another league or something like that, where it's like, hey, you come, if you buy season tickets, you also get tickets to this 3-on-3 event, or like, just try to get more people to buy into it. And I think that's how you maybe have a path to like growing it, and then having those established fans really tune in when the Olympics come.
That's interesting. Yeah. So you mean like, let's grow 3-on-3 basketball beyond the Olympics, beyond the NBA, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I think there's an idea there for sure. I feel like, especially in the women's game, there's so many different people who are trying to grow like niche leagues. And because the WNBA is only so many months long, so there's room within the calendar year to have more leagues. So I could see that happening in the women's game more than in the men's game, but I do think there's something there. Okay, I want to know what you think of this.
I'm ready.
I think they should change the court. And I think it should be like an asphalt, like cement court. And the reason why I say this is because, the whole reason for this I've read. So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I've read this, that they've been trying to bring more quote unquote urban sports into the Olympics. That's why like breakdancing is a thing in the Olympics now, and skateboarding, etc. But it's like, if you're going to do that, then you have to actually bring the urban part, like, I mean, urban, like city part into it. Right. And so to me, it could be like in tennis, where you have like the grass court at Wimbledon, the clay court at the French Open, etc., where it's like the 3-on-3 basketball is a different court surface. Right. Because automatically, based on that, you'll have different players who are better at it than others.
Yeah, no, I could get behind that, and especially like it kind of brings that street ball vibe, and
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I could definitely see that working. Like, yeah,
Because so I was watching some skateboarding, and one thing I really noticed about watching skateboarding at the Olympics, because I mean, I don't watch skateboarding otherwise, is it's like an immersive experience. Like, I feel like I'm observing like their culture, right? Like the whole skateboarding culture, like with the music, with what they wear, like the swagger, like they have like their custom boards, like all the different terminology and things like that. Like, I feel like I'm learning and I'm observing something that's like new to me. And I feel like 3-on-3 basketball should do that, but it should be more street ball. Like, we should have like actual like Rucker Park athletes representing America in that sport. Like, that's what it
yeah,
should
yeah, yeah,
be.
yeah.
And
That'd be
so
cool.
anyway,
I could
skateboarding
definitely
is
see
what
that.
made me think of that. Because I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
skateboarding, it's not an asphalt surface, but like it is no different from any skateboarding park I've ever seen.
right.
Where
But
like the three
I
on three basketball court is like, that doesn't exist anywhere.
yeah, yeah. No, I definitely think that's worth considering. And then, I guess this is when you get into the whole conversation again of just like, do you just bring like, do you change up the rules where it's like you've got these and one ballers and just like
Yeah.
bringing out these crazy handles and just like now it's a fun event.
Because that is a different version of the sport,
Yeah,
right? It's not just
yeah,
half court
exactly,
basketball.
exactly.
Because to me, like the 3-on-3 basketball that I've seen, and I've seen some of the men's and women's, it's boring. Like, I'm sorry, it's just boring, And I
Yeah.
think part of that is, they only play up to 21 points. So you don't have like the actual buildup of like a regular basketball game. You lose the chess factor of it all, the back and forth and the building up of anticipation. Like, I feel like it ends as soon as it starts. And then kind of what you were saying before, the star power. Like, I've seen people online say that, like, 5-on-5 basketball is different than 3-on-3 basketball. I agree with that. But I do think there are people in the NBA and WNBA who could really excel at 3-on-3 basketball, right? I'm not the biggest like Kyrie Irving fan, but
Mm.
he has an incredible crossover, an incredible handle. He's a good passer. He can create his own shot if he needs to. I feel like he is the type of player that would fit in really well in 3-on-3
Well,
basketball.
when you put it that way, I'm almost just like, hey, why not just have one-on-one basketball at the Olympics?
Yes,
And then
I
we
was
have
also thinking that one-on-one basketball would be amazing.
like,
Imagine I would love one-on-one basketball at the Olympics. Are you kidding me? Okay, it's LeBron James. Good luck. Good luck, world.
and then yeah,
Oh,
Serbia's
it would be so good.
Slovenia is sending
Luca
Luka
could win.
Doncic,
Luca
and
could win gold
yeah,
one-on-one
and
basketball.
then yeah,
So
you,
could
you just need
Shea
these guys.
possibly.
Yeah,
But you know what?
but
It's like, because these games are like, for the 3-on-3, they're so short. I'm like, why couldn't they use some of the players that are already there? It's so short. It's like they're not playing for more than like 20 minutes.
yeah, but I feel like NBA teams would just be like, no, There's no way. Like,
Fine,
it's hard.
but there are
It's hard enough
still
to get them to agree to like go play 5-on-5 for the Olympics.
yeah,
So
that's true. And for the I'm still annoyed that they pulled Andrew Wiggins, but like Steph Curry plays. Like, make it make sense, Golden State. Like, I don't like that. But okay. What other thing do I want to say about 3-on-3? I love how this whole podcast is like, yeah, the Olympics going on, blah blah blah. These are my complaints. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, I just feel like there's room for more star power in this event, and I do think there are players in professional leagues that could cross over into this event very well. Also, too, for all the Caitlin Clark got robbed from Team USA, which I don't agree with that opinion. I do think it's arguably that she got snubbed for 3-on-3, because Caitlin Clark is also like a really good ball handler, a really good passer. She's double teamed constantly. Like, she would know how to pass out of a double team. I think she could have been really good on the 3-on-3 team. And no disrespect to Haley Van Lith, I believe is her name, but I don't know why they went with a collegiate player. Like, she's still a collegiate player. Like, I don't know why. Like, there's just so many talented players that are pros. And even frankly, there are other collegiate players that I would pick over her respectively. So I don't know. I don't get it. I do think that they should build up some chemistry with each other. Like, I think the US teams, and maybe even Canada as well, it's like, okay, this group of 4 we're going to bring into the 3-on-3 tournament 4 years from now, and we're going to practice annually. And we're going to build up chemistry with each other over time. And then, God forbid there's injuries, then you have some backups, et cetera, et cetera. But I think all of those things, and the cement court, really blast the music, be a little looser on the fouls. That's what's going to make it interesting. And then let's have 1-on-1. Give me 3 basketball events. That's insane. 3 different. You know what? Swimming, they get how many medals in swimming? Please.
Yeah.
Please.
It's true.
It's like less impressive when someone's like, oh, this is the most decorated Olympian. It's like, no, they're the most decorated swimmer. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Yeah, I hear that.
Like, come on, you're not Simone Biles.
Yeah, I hear that.
Who's amazing. I saw her win gold earlier today. It was fantastic. Okay.
Do you feel the same way about the sprints? Like, say Usain Bolt winning like the 100 and the 200?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Because that's not like 6 runs. You know what I mean? Like with swimming, it's like they do like 6 or 8 runs, and all of them are for a gold medal. Where like in track, it's like if you're going to win that many medals, it's like you have to do shock put, and you have to do long jump, and you have to do the high jump. Like, it's impossible to be that good at all of those things. But swimming is swimming, right? Anyway, it would be like in diving if like every diving board was just like a foot higher than the other. And there's like 8 different dives. Yeah. Oh my god, that'd be so stupid. Anyway, I'm a ridiculous human being. Okay, US men's basketball. Steve Kerr not playing certain players has really made the rounds in the news this week. Jason Tatum had a DNP one game, then he started the next game, and Joel Embiid had a DNP in that game. That was against South Sudan. And also Tyrese Halliburton had a DNP, and no one said anything about it. But anyway, just, classic Indiana Pacers slander, not getting recognized by the big Boston media, blah, blah, blah. Is Steve Kerr trying to mess with these guys? What do you think is happening?
I think he's definitely getting a little nutty in terms of like, oh, it's a matchups thing. And, Embiid just didn't fit the pace of the South Sudan game.
That's what they said. They were like, "Oh, the South Sudan team is faster, so we're not going to play Embiid." It's like he's still Joel Embiid.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
I think that's probably a bit of public massaging. Let's face it, Embiid has not been great for Team USA.
No, he
Uh,
hasn't.
and Anthony Davis has absolutely outplayed him. You can bet, I will bet any amount of money that I have that if the US are in a close game, Anthony Davis and not Joel Embiid will be closing that game, barring him being fouled out or injured. And so I think that has a little to do with it. And then, I think when you look at the Jason Tatum situation, Tyrese Halliburton situation, I mean, it's just an abundance of riches, right? Like, it's like we're doing this so we can get 6 more minutes of Anthony Edwards. Like, what are you going to say to that?
I know, it's a little ridiculous. I feel like, I mean, it is kind of funny that it's Jason Tatum, though.
Yeah.
Like he just won an
Coming off
NBA
an NBA
championship
championship.
and all of this, and it is kind of funny. But like Derek White playing and not Jason Tatum playing is actually really funny. And for all the NBA fan conspiracy theorists out there who are like, Steve Kerr's trying to mess with them, it's like, I don't think that's true, but I wish it were, because that would be fun. But no, that's definitely not the case. I feel like, I do think they were taking South Sudan seriously, because in preliminaries, like, that game did come down to the wire, and that South Sudan team, I mean, they look incredible. And give it up to Luol Deng, who has funded this team and is the president of this team, and coming off like a civil war, like being able to put all of this together, I think is absolutely incredible. Like, what a great way to spend your time and money and energy, like post playing career. I think they're a fantastic story. But I do think they're taking South Sudan seriously. I mean, Joel Embiid can't stop getting booed by the French audience, so there's also that part. I don't know if they care about that or not, but it's extremely noticeable. Well, actually, let's talk about that for a second. So Joel Embiid got a French passport. Like, he got a passport for the country of France. So
Oui.
so he could play for Team France, and then decided to play for Team USA instead. And I don't blame the French fans for being annoyed by that. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, most people get a passport for a country with some intention of spending time in that country. So I think that's ridiculous, and I love that they're booing him. I think that's absolutely wonderful. And what else did I want to say about it? He's playing terribly. He's getting booed a lot. I also think, like, if he were to be on Team France, he would be very redundant between Wemby and Rudy Gobert. Like, I just feel like,
Would they play all 3 together?
yeah, like, how would that, like, what, like, Wemby's a small forward suddenly? Like,
I mean,
maybe that's why France is really annoyed. They're like, no, we wanted to see Wemby as a small forward. You coward!
I think the whole world did.
Team. Yeah, I guess. Okay, now I'm even more upset that he did. I was very neutral on the subject.
Like, Wemby, Embiid, and Gobert on the court together. That would be so funny to watch.
I was very neutral, and now I'm very annoyed. Yeah, he robbed us of that experience. Maybe I'll boo Embiid the next time I see him. And then I'll wave a French flag, even though I'm not from France. Wow. Yeah, that would be absolutely wild. But I was thinking he would be a bit redundant on that team, realistically speaking. So it probably worked out.
Well, he's proven pretty redundant now anyway. Considering the DNP CD.
But do you have any thoughts on the DNP? Like, do you just think like Steve Kerr's just overthinking it and stuff?
I think so. I think they're good enough to win with Embiid playing. That sounds so weird, but yeah,
it's true. They would be. I think they would be kind of better off without him.
I could see it from
Because
the
even Bam
perspective
has
of,
been playing great.
yeah, I could see it from the perspective of like, hey, at the end of the day, it's harder to find a rhythm if you're changing lineups that much. And if you're trying to get like 12 guys in every game, like you're just going to be in a situation where you're probably overdoing it. And so
Mhm.
maybe by overthinking the rotations, he's actually making it simpler for the players on the court, where it's like, okay, these are the rotations. This guy's not going to be in there. This guy's not going to be in there. This is who I'm going to be on the court with. And it's just a bit easier to manage because let's face it, like these players are coming together so quickly for these events, right? It's not like they're going through years and years of playing together and just are able to do everything based off osmosis. And like, I think trying to address the chemistry in this way is maybe the best way to do it. And then,
Mhm.
if he's come out and told the players beforehand that, hey, this is just going to be what it is, and in certain matchup guys aren't going to play, and everyone's on board with it, then you get on board with it. And like Jamal Murray said, right? Like when he was asked about coming off the bench, it's like, hey, if
Mhm.
there's guys on Team USA who can just sit with DNP CDs, I can come off the bench here and just focus on us getting a medal.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, Canada. I mean, I don't think we're an embarrassment of riches yet, but we do have the most NBA players on a team outside of the U.S. So, we're doing pretty great. If you haven't caught the We Can Ball podcast on Raptors Republic, definitely recommend that. They go deep into Canadian basketball. And I don't, on the Raptors Republic platform, I don't want to overstep too much with the other pods. So please check them out if you haven't already. But I am watching, I am very excited. On the women's side, respectfully, the Team Canada women's team is just not fully there yet. Although us making the Olympics for a second time in a row is a huge accomplishment. We lost to Team Spain by like a lot. It was like pretty painful to watch. But then we lost to Australia, but only by 5 points. So we were really close. It was really disappointing that we didn't come through with that game. But keep supporting women's basketball. I feel like we're building something there, and it's going to be really good and a really big deal someday. So that's what I'll say about that. Oh my God. One other thing I need to say about the US team before we move on. Bam Adebayo and Asia Wilson rumored to be dating. There was one photo of them together in Vegas before the teams left, right? Very exciting. So earlier today, the women's US team was playing against Belgium, and they cut to the audience for a second, and Bam Adebayo was like the only NBA player there. And he was like chatting with like Dwayne Wade, who's been like he's been like doing some US broadcasting. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because all the other guys went to see gymnastics to see Simone Biles win gold. Perverts, low key. I'm just kidding. They're not actually. But they're like teenagers, you know what I mean? Like they're all so young, except for Simone. Anyway, they all were there. And then Bam was like the only one watching the game. So it just, the plot thickens for anybody
Mm.
on, we really need a good like name merge of Asia Wilson and Bam Adebayo. I'm not good at that, but someone might be able to figure out how to merge their names. No, no, I'm not even going to try it. It's also terrible. Everything in my head is just a bad idea. But anyway, plot thickens. Very, very excited. Do you have comments about Bam Adebayo and Asia Wilson being a couple?
Whatever makes them happy.
Oh, please. Oh, please. You're supposed to be excited.
I am excited. What I really want to see is Anthony Edwards play ping pong against the U.S. ping pong team. Did you see that
Oh,
video? Did you see
I
that
saw
video?
that he was there watching, but did he play?
No,
I saw he was watching and he was really into it. The table tennis.
Because he was talking up his game, his ping pong game, and then the ping pong team was actually pretty close by. So Steph, being Steph, went over to them and then comes back and is like, yeah, they're pretty sure that you wouldn't be able to win a point against them.
Yeah, I did see that. And then Anthony Edwards was like, I'd get a point. Is that what he said? Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted. Please keep telling the story.
No, so I kind of want to see that play out. Like, we gotta have like a side Olympics of the Olympians participating in other events.
Oh, that'd be fun. Well, Steph Curry would do really well. I mean, it's rumored that he's going to pursue a professional golf career after he retires from basketball, which is absolutely wild. And I think he could really excel at. I think he probably could do table tennis. I would put out of any other, like, athlete outside of that sport. I think Steph would be really good at that. Yeah, I don't know though. I feel like a lot of these guys might not do well in other sports. Oh my God, this has unlocked a memory for me. So back in like the Vince Carter days of the Raptors, because I'm old and I remind the audience of that every episode somehow. There was a moment where they had some of the Toronto Maple Leafs play basketball and some of the Raptors play ice hockey. And it was like this thing they did like randomly just for fun. I think it was like before the season started or whatever. And like half the guys didn't know how to ice skate. Like just had never ice skated, had no idea. And obviously the hockey players were bad at basketball too, but it was very like, I really enjoyed it because it made me feel like it just made me feel better. Not that I'm like anywhere near an athlete, but yeah, it unlocked a whole memory for me when you suggested that.
Yeah, no, I think this has just got to be a completely new, separate Olympics. Every country that wants to participate, send your like team, a squad of like 50 or whatever it is. Actually, no, that's too many.
Just your best athlete, just your best all around athlete, and then you have to pick out of a hat or something, or it's like when they do like the lottery balls and it's like spinning in the thing, and then that's just like the sport you're doing.
Yeah, like
so stupid.
What was it? Have you watched Harry Potter or read Harry Potter?
Not really. I know it's terrible.
Okay, so,
why are you calling me out like this?
No, I was just asking a question.
No, I'm gonna get so much hate now. You don't understand. I've just lost like 5 subscribers. So I've watched the first 2 Harry Potter films. That's it.
But I'll be talking about Harry Potter, so we bring them back. So here we go. So they have like a wizard tournament.
Yes.
And so they don't find out about the event until like the day before, and it's like, this is what's going to happen. And so that's what the event, there needs to be a special, like a different Olympics for that, where you send a few of the best athletes from the country and they go, and it's like, out of the hat, okay, you're playing tennis tomorrow, and then you're swimming like 2 days after that, and then maybe there's a day where you're doing all of it, and then whoever wins riveted. That,
you're the athlete of the world. That's what it should be called, athlete of the world.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a good name.
Then we'll really know if LeBron's the GOAT.
Michael Jordan couldn't do that. Oh my God. That'd be so funny. He probably would have won that in his prime, or maybe still. Yeah. I would love that. I'd be absolutely riveted by that. No one would do it. But I love this athlete. I feel like it would happen in Dubai. Like Dubai will be like, we'll host it. I don't know why, I just see it there. Okay, let's move on. We have a small Raptors Homer moment here. and that is the 30th anniversary logo has been unveiled. It's got a nice classic 30 with the raptor biting the 0 as he does. I feel like our raptor logo, he likes to bite. I feel like he's been biting at other logos in the past.
Biting, scratching, clawing.
Yeah. he's a fighter. What do you like the logo?
Yeah, I think it's a nice tribute. And I almost wish Steph Curry was a Raptor right now, because like having the 30 with the Raptor, it's like too perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I would love Steph Curry to be a Raptor for many other reasons, but also that.
Yeah. But no, I think it's gonna be cool. I'm really like, I'm allowing myself to get excited about what the jersey could be. I'm anticipating a special jersey, and so I'm really rooting for a nice little throwback, with a bit of a modern day spin. But I just hope I don't get disappointed.
That's fair. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on this jersey. I think it will sell well. I mean, the Raptors, depending on where you land, it's hard to say how well they'll do this year. So this might be like, major nostalgia year to keep us like engaged through the wins and losses and the ups and downs of this like younger team that's like learning together. What is happening, Vivek? What are you doing? I'm not editing this out.
My phone just popped off.
And what did it pop off with?
I was checking my WhatsApp, and then I thought someone sent an image, but it was instead a video.
Oh. Happens. But now I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh yeah, there was a lot of pressure on this jersey, and also to the moments. Like, what else are they gonna do to commemorate this thing? Like, do you think they're gonna retire Vince Carter's jersey? Yes, just
I think that's coming. Yeah, I think that's definitely coming. I think going into the Hall of Fame, like the Nets trying to claim him, all of that, like. I think
I hate it.
The jersey retirement is coming.
I hate this whole Nets thing with the. Oh my god, I just hate it. It's so stupid.
Awkward.
I didn't think about the jersey, but I am excited. I've been looking out for a Vince Carter jersey dress for a while now. There is one out there on like the Fanatics website or whatever, but the extra large is always sold out. Losers. And also to like on my social media, whenever I get like those ads a lot, it's a different price every day I see it. Like, pay attention to your ads. It is a different price every day I see it. There's also this Toronto Raptors like crop top t-shirt that has like the skyline, like the Toronto skyline, and it says Toronto. It's like really cool, and then the Raptors logos in the corner. Different price every time I see this crop top. Just fraudulent, just pure fraudulent.
You should take like screenshots of that every time.
I know, and just like post like a collage of like the whole thing, and then just like tag them. Like, how is this possible? Also, why haven't you brought the XL back in stock? What are we doing? I'm not losing weight for you. I am not losing weight for you, Vince Carter jersey dress. You gotta come to me. But if Vince Carter gets his jersey retired, I think I'll be a little emotional. I hope I get to go. I need to know. They can't just surprise me with this. They have to announce it. I need to be able to buy tickets. I need to be present for this moment.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there will be a big announcement.
What else do you think they might do? Do you have an idea of what other ideas they might have? Stop playing with your Funko toys, okay? You're just bumping into things.
That's my
cable.
I can't get in the way of my my microphone.
But anyway, sorry, I was just being silly. What else do you think the team might do? Do you have a sense of what they might have up their sleeve?
I imagine that there'll be different tributes to different players over the course of the season, and so I'm pretty sure Damon Stoudemire will be making an appearance at some point.
Oh yeah. Is he still an
Um,
assistant with Boston?
no, he took a college coaching job, if I'm not
Oh, okay.
mistaken.
So he'll have to make a special visit.
Yeah, so I think they'll probably have to figure out a way to do it. He's currently the head coach of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Oh, cool.
So he'll be
Um,
doing that. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. And I'm sure like a bunch of the key players, right? So to just like sketch out the history of the franchise, and so I'm sure Charles Oakley will be there at some point. I'm sure JYD will be there at some point. I'm sure Antonio Davis will be there at some point. Who else? Tracy McGrady maybe. Although maybe that's a bit too short term. Yeah, we'll see. Chris Bosh probably.
who's the most annoying player you think they'll do a tribute for? And is it Bargnani?
Oh man. So non-active player tribute that would be annoying. So this wouldn't happen, but can you imagine? It would be so awkward if they invited Hito Turkoglu.
I was just gonna say Turkoglu fucking video tribute.
It'll just be the Jack Armstrong interview of him saying ball. That's the tribute.
Oh man, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah.
It would be very funny and stupid if they did like a Jalen Rose tribute. It's just him poorly guarding Kobe.
Yeah. I gotta say though, I actually have a soft spot for Jalen.
I love Jalen Rose. I love Jalen Rose, but that would be a ridiculous
Captain
Raptors
Crunch. Real
tribute.
ones know.
Captain Crunch.
That's what Chuck Swirsky started calling him, because after he made, like, he had this stretch where he was being like super clutch, and then Chuck Swirsky started calling him Captain Crunch because he was so good in crunch time.
Oh my god. Well, I like to consider myself a real one, but I didn't know/remember that. And I think I just blocked those years out of my memory, respectively. So we'll let the audience decide if I'm a real one or not. I did remember that Raptors Leafs swap, though, which nobody else will know. So for all they know, I'm making it up, but I did remember that. What else do I remember? I remember Damon Stoudemire couldn't wait to leave the Raptors, and he had a big smile on his face as he like ran onto the plane to leave Toronto, and it was on the local news. Anyway, I do have very old memories. Okay. I think it's time for a hottie highlight of the week. And this is an Olympic edition. And Vivek, I'm actually going to swap one on you. This is spontaneous. But I'm giving you 3 choices here. Okay. So the first choice is, hold on, I'm pulling this up. We've got Gabriel Medina, who is an Olympic surfer who had that amazing viral photo of him in the air with his surfboard in the air, and he's like pointing to the sky or to somebody, and it's absolutely iconic. Okay. Yep. We have the New Zealand rugby team, beating Canada, which sucked, but literally lifting up her teammate by the shorts over her head to catch the ball and was able to bring her back down without falling. It is like absolutely unreal. And the third one I gave you originally was Simone Biles, but the thing is that Simone Biles would take it, like, obviously. So I want to give you one that makes this a bit more of a difficult decision, and that is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander standing up for his cousin, Nikhil Alexander, at the end of the Greece game, calling the Greece opponents the B word.
Yeah. So 3 incredible choices.
2 really all-time iconic Olympic moments and 1 very Canadian moment.
Yeah. So I gotta send love for all of them. I think I've gotta give it to, as iconic as that photo is.
Mm-hmm.
So with Shea, the thing is, it's like I would expect nothing less from Shea. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? None of that like shocked me or had me like oohing, and I was like, yeah, let's go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be between the two, and so between the surfer and New Zealand, I think the fact that the New Zealand play like actually meant winning gold,
Yeah,
takes it over the top. So I got to go with that.
I agree. I'd also never seen rugby before ever in my life and was like, oh, I guess I have to watch rugby now. And it was absolutely incredible. I had to, I hope nobody gets upset that I took Simone Biles out of the list. It's just too obvious for her comeback to be the hottie highlight. When she did her floor routine, I was like, she gets so high in the air. I was like, this girl looks like she could dunk a basketball with her foot. Like, she actually gets so high in the air. I bet she could lay up a basketball with her foot. Maybe a shorter net, but still. No,
Wow.
I feel like she could do it because she's so strong and she can leap so high. It's actually unreal. Like, I mean, everything she does is impressive, but I feel like her floor routines are just my personal favorite. But I thought was that going to be your pick?
So actually I was gonna say like Simone's too obvious of a choice, so I'm gonna,
Yeah. See, that's okay. So I
So
made the right decision switching it up. But yeah, I also love that surfer image so much. I was telling Vivek before we started recording that I started painting. I actually want to try and paint that image because I think that image would be an excellent painting. Mine would be a
that's
very
super cool.
amateur, like I'm very new to painting, but I feel like it would be a good goal to learn how to do it. And I've been crafting more. I'm in my crafting era now.
That would be really cool if you do that.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to this summer, crafting. I also sprained my ankle. That sucks. I've been icing it and taping it up and not walking a lot. Kind of sucks, but hopefully that will heal soon.
Yeah.
Just letting everyone know what I've been up to. I've been healing a sprained ankle and painting and watching Olympics. and I've been binging the show Girl 5 Eva. It's so good. It's so funny. Girls 5 Eva. It's like it's very millennial, but it's a parody of like 2000s boy band girl band culture. And it's about this like fake girl band that like 20 years later like tries to make a comeback. And they're like moms and stuff now. Anyway, it's really funny. Tina Fey produces it. Cool. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. Thank you, everyone. I will be back next week with another episode talking more Olympics, all that good stuff, more hottie highlights, I'm sure. Thank you, Vivek, for joining me. Let us know what you've been up to and where we can find you on the internets.
Yeah, so I've been so far like just doing random freelance stuff at Sportsnet, general NBA content, a little bit of tennis. So if you want any of that stuff, you can head over to Sportsnet. I've got my Raptors newsletter going, Raptors in 7, so you can go check that out on Substack. And besides that, you can find everything in between on Twitter at Vivek M. Jacob.
Awesome. And cricket coverage 2028, Los Angeles. I won't forget. I'll remind you to apply for your media pass. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.